Today at the G1 Climax 34 final, we are at Ryogoku Sumo Hall in Tokyo, Japan, in front of 8,056 people for the final of the G1 Climax 34. And to join me on this best of all possible Sundays is Christy. How are you?
Don't give away the result. Yeah.
I think they might know by now.
No. People listen to our podcast to decide which matches they should watch, and then they watch the shows. That's how this goes.
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, it's
remain
great.
calm.
It's a great day. I think James has had a tougher day than I have. But I think he's also happier than me, so I think that works out.
Oh yeah. I can't talk about it till the main event.
Yeah,
we'll
save it till at the end.
All the things that have gone through my head.
We can talk about it for like 30 minutes. It'll be fine.
Oh, we will. Oh, no. I have it planned. There are talking points. I made a PowerPoint.
You did? Do you have notes?
I went to Lincoln this afternoon. It's been Pride Weekend in Lincoln this afternoon, so there's lots of people around. And whilst all these people around, I'm walking around in my head.
Too.
Yes, I was walking around in my head, figuring out what I was going to say today. I tried to stop myself crying a couple of times. So yes, so there's lots of things to come. There will be feelings.
Bless you.
There will be feelings. So you imagine, me like in a heap by the end of this particular podcast. But damn it,
I'm slightly envious because imagine if that had been Goto and me.
I know. I mean, I would have been as happy for Goto winning it as well.
Well, then why didn't Ishii not do that? No offense, Zack. No, I'm kidding. Let's not take away from Zack. Anyway, yeah.
And there are moments of joy for you to look forward to. So many moments of joy for you to look forward to from this card.
Yes.
Things have been laid out. Stories are to be told. But let us start at the beginning. Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima, your MLW World and Tag Team Champion, Satoshi Kojima, tagged up with Ryosuke Taguchi, who acted relatively normal.
Yeah, he's still in his fake LJ phase. So
yes, he's going through a bit of his third midlife crisis. Defeated Shoma Gato, Tiger Mask, and Yuji Nagata. Hey, Yuji Nagata. Blue Justice was back. 8 minutes and 13 seconds. I love how it says on here commentary by Masahiro Chono and Hiroyoshi Tenzan, who only did commentary on 3 matches. But hey, well,
they're in spirit.
There were other people. It wasn't silence on the Japanese commentary team. The English commentary team was Chris Charlton and Walker Stewart, who ably guided us through the entire show. But yes, this was a fun little opener, and it kind of gave Shoma Kato some chops with the old guys who put him through his paces. What did you think of this?
Well, I had to laugh because at some point Kato was like bullying Nagata, and I was like, "This is not how this is supposed to go."
He's so enthusiastic. That's like it's terrifying. Like, what did they do? Give him 15 spoonfuls of sugar and four Red Bulls before they sent him to the ring? Because it's like,
They were like, "You better impress us, otherwise we're sending you abroad to have a feud with Suzuki for like 2 years." And it was like, "Yes, sir. No, you will notice my hard work, sir." Yeah.
Kojima's taking you with you to MLW and he's going to have Janelle Kai kick the living shit out of you for 3 weeks.
And you can't put up anything. No hands, no shins, no anything.
No,
you have to just take it. Yeah, it made me laugh. But then, like, within 30 seconds, Nagata was like, "No, enough of this." And then he turned the tables and it was bullying the other way around. But that's fine. We also went from like dick to ass jokes now because Taguchi's here. So instead of the dick jokes, we had a lot of ass jokes. And yes. I hope they got it out of their system now after this G1, but I don't think they have.
It depends on which poor unfortunate is Ryosuke Taguchi's tag partner for Super J Tag League this year, doesn't it?
Oh God.
It could be anyone, really.
Hopefully Iwata was not back, but then that sounds wrong, but you know what I mean.
No, I have no idea. I mean, who was it last year? Was that lad from the dojo, wasn't it? Joe, the LA dojo? I can't remember. From Strong, but I can't remember his name. Which will show you how well he kind of did, because Taguchi has a tendency to outshine people, unfortunately. I don't know who to get to go with Taguchi. Tiger Mask would be nice to see. I would think Tiger Mask and Taguchi would be a good team, because Tiger Mask would just get sick of him.
They'll start fighting Taguchi.
Yeah.
I think they're now using Taguchi as like the mentor to either bring in someone and to get them somewhat popular with the crowd, or to teach them.
Yeah. We haven't had a lot. I mean, if you think about it, we haven't had a lot of new juniors.
No, we kind of assumed that both Kato and Murashima would be juniors, but they're getting so big.
Yeah. And also there's the fact that they're 3 years away from debuting as junior heavyweights, even if they are going to be juniors. You know, we kind of need someone fresh now. And you think Wato has really been the only person who's come back from an excursion?
Yeah, well, you have Fujita, but...
Fujita, yeah, sorry, 2. That's 2 in the last 3 years. That's not a lot compared to 4 or 5 in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was kind of assuming that that's why they had like Kato and Murashima, but I think they're getting so big that I'm not sure you can conceivably make them juniors.
No, unless you take the Shingo route. He's
well,
definitely 100 kilos.
I need a singles match between Shingo and both of them just to see like how they compare to Shingo, weight and size, height wise. Because I think he's like the great divide between the two.
To quote John Moxley, whoever said Shingo Takagi was a junior heavyweight must have been on drugs, because that motherfucker's a tank.
Shingo was like, no, all the weight is my hair. That doesn't count.
Yes. That was my favourite Zack Sabre Jr. quote of the week, was like, I've been through more worse haircuts than you, son. Yes. Anyway.
I mean, some people don't like this current haircut either.
Yeah, it's very short back and sides. But anywho, any other thoughts on this particular matchup?
No.
Let us move on. We had the return of Tai Chi.
He was here last show, right?
He was. He was a singles wrestler, though. He was not sharing limelight.
I was like, did I forget? Did I?
No, you did not.
That?
No, absolutely did not. No.
Hallucinate Tai Chi? No. I mean, I am one to do that, but
no, I had a worry moment yesterday. You know the issues I've had with my car. I pulled the key out of my car and a check engine light came up, and I was like, I'll deal with that tomorrow. I will deal with that tomorrow. And I apparently hallucinated it because I just drove to Lincoln and back in that car, and it was perfect.
Oh, you say that now, and then tomorrow when you have to be somewhere.
Oh no! I'm using the other car until Thursday. It's my weekend car, so I don't have to worry about it until at least Friday. So that was good. Anywho, yes, Tai Chi, Katsuyori Murashima. Katsuyori Murashima's had a very good tour. As a reward for that tour, he gets a singles match on the final of the G1 Climax. Obviously, he's going to get a kick in.
Yes.
Like Walker Stewart coming out with, we can't undersell these young men. We've got to give them the chance that they might. No, they will not.
I was laughing so hard at Walker. I was like, you're such a good soul to be like, he has a chance. He could win. Like, we do that as fans. Like, you've got this. You've got this, Murashima. We believe in you. But we do that because, like, we know it's not happening.
Fans. Yeah,
and exactly. We're fans, and we enjoy playing dumb. But Walker was like really genuinely trying to explain to Charlton that no, there is a chance, and Charlton's like, no fucking way.
Yes, it reminds me. There's a story Mick Foley told in his first biography when he was in wrestling for WCW. Ron Simmons had just won the World Heavyweight Championship, and he was his first challenger at Clash of the Champions. And it was the 20th anniversary of wrestling on TBS, and they had a party the night before. And he jokingly said, "Hey, there was a championship change on the first night of wrestling on TBS, and maybe there'll be a championship change tomorrow." Which Arn Anderson looked up at him and said, "I don't care if he dies. You will roll him on top of you." Yes. So that's one of those situations. Yes. But yeah, fun little match. Murashima showing his way, and Tai Chi, co-ordering him into.
Yeah. Taichi was interesting because he was doing the bare minimum, I'd say. Like he was very much like kicking the hell out of him, but he was barely out of breath.
No, that was it. He did barely broke a sweat through this entire match.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Yeah.
And he left immediately after he pinned the guy. He was like, okay, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah. Done my thing. Give him his moment. Now let's go.
And I am quite curious about the backstage promos. Because the last thing we heard from Taichi was the whole I am pissed. Why am I not in the main G1, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Could be a thing that's going to continue, and this is a continuation of him being pissed off at New Japan.
It could be a motivation for World Tag League as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if he says something about it in the backstage promos, but obviously I don't speak Japanese and there aren't any subtitles yet, so we'll have to wait until
Is there
tomorrow.
anything on New Japan World, I suppose?
The global account, you mean?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but then I was too busy watching the show, so it might have been up there.
Okay.
I'm too scared to go look for it.
I'll go look while you talk. It's explain more about this match and how you felt about it.
That's basically all I had. But
Oh, okay.
I did think it was interesting that they put Murashima with the heavyweight.
Yeah, that would suggest a certain kind of size to him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or it's them checking to see how it looks.
Yeah.
And how the fans respond to it or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it. I always kind of like it. This sounds very wrong, but to see one guy bullied and then try and get up from underneath the bullying. So and Taichi is a great bully. He's gotten bullied so much in the past and then bullied so much that he's great at it. Like, bullying, yes, that's me. And I hope they're going to do something with him. I feel like Yuya being out means that things will have to be shuffled around a bit. Because if Yuya and Sonata were a tag team, for example, or Yuya and Taichi, that's going to have to change.
Yeah, Yuya and Taichi were the tag team last year, and I think it was probably likely they would be the tag team this year just to give Yuya more reps with the opponents. So I would suggest that it would be Sonata and Taichi for just 5 guys this year.
Yeah, and that might fuck with the plans they had for the other guy.
Yeah, so
imagine had it had been Yuya Sonata, because Sonata's kind of done for now with the single stuff. We're assuming.
Yeah.
And they're gonna like give Taichi some single stuff. That's kind of fucked now. Yeah. So I hope that was the case.
Having said that, I wouldn't be against Sonata and Taichi having a crack at them there. IWGP tag team titles.
Oh no, definitely not. Absolutely.
I think them and TMDK could make sweet music together.
Yeah. I'm just saying that if there had been a singles Taichi situation, he might be kind of pissed about that. But I just want to see those backstage promos because it could just be him going, I'm going to do to this young lion what the guys always did to me, and that's the extent of what this match was.
Yes, as Kawada beat Seven Shades to shit out me on a daily basis.
Yeah, I still have nightmares about it. Let's give someone else nightmares too.
Yes, he clearly does. That's his entire. It's been his entire character for the last 20 years. Essentially, Kawada hurt me, which he did, and they made documentaries about how much he hated Kawada, hated him.
I've seen the clips. Yeah.
Yes. Anywho, let us move on to the next match. Mad Mikey Nichols, Robbie Eagles, along with Kissi Fujita, the Mighty Don't Kneel, took on Francesco Akira and Konosuke Takeshita, which went 9 minutes and 32 seconds with TMDK taking the victory here. This was kind of a nice kind of split heavyweight junior kind of tag team affair. Obviously, there was some good communication between Akira and Takeshita, which you wouldn't have thought was kind of the thing. But yeah, this was a lot of fun for what it was. Just a fun little tag match. Of course, there was an awful lot of consultation about Takeshita and his future.
Of course there was. I mean, if he joins New Japan, you're going to have to pronounce that name every show, so.
Hopefully, I can pronounce Takeshita all right. It's his first name I have issues with. Konosuke. Yeah.
Konosuke.
Konosuke Takeshita. He did cut a promo for the DDT audience after this, saying,
Yeah, thanking them for their support and apologizing for not winning.
Yeah, which was cool. Which says grounds to his loyalty from DDT. But yes, what about the match? It was good. It was fun. It was kind of a lot of back and forth. Francesco Akira, this was the first time Robbie Eagles had won a match involving Francesco Akira. He'd never beaten him before in a tag match or a singles match, which was interesting. Not come across that before. We're assuming Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita will be having a crack at that Super Junior Tag League again. And obviously Mikey Nichols.
And
Mikey Nichols and hysterical Shane Haste will be going for World Tag League as champions, which will be intriguing. Takeshita, we're not really sure about. Going back to AEW, sticking in a banger every couple of weeks and going about his business as per usual. Until further notice. What's your thoughts on this match?
I enjoyed it. I knew I was going to. When the match card was announced, this and the one before were the matches I was like, oh, I'm excited for this. I feel like Takeshita and Akira are surprisingly good together.
Yeah.
I don't think Takeshita was particularly enthused about United Empire, except for Akira somehow. They even have like pictures together online, and Akira bought him stuff. Like Akira buys people the sweets he really likes.
Yeah.
Which is cute. And like Takeshita was like, yeah, thank you, that's so sweet, and you're so nice, and we did so well. And I was like, oh, you're actually smiling. With the United Empire member.
He doesn't smile in AEW. He just kind of like.
Yeah, and during these tag matches, like when they win, he's like the first one out. He's gone. Like, fuck United Empire, and you're celebrating. I'm going to the back. And that wasn't the case here. Now, of course, tag team is a bit different than when you're the fourth guy in a 4-man team.
Yeah.
And they're celebrating away from you, but still, I think these two have a chemistry and enjoys each other's presence. And it's funny that they're both like probably talking to each other in English, which is both of their second languages. So
yeah. They
get along. And there was a moment here where I was like so fond of Akira. Because Robbie did his Robbie thing where the crowd starts dancing along. And Akira was like, I want to do it too. So he turns to the crowd and he goes, ah. And that's all he did. And the crowd picked it up immediately. Ah,
yes.
Akira. And the look on his face, he was so pleased with himself.
Yeah.
It was adorable. I really had that kind of, you just realized they like you.
Yeah. Because he did come in as an annoying little shit, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's like no one liked him for at least a year. Kind of calmed down. It's actually no, we don't hate you anymore. You're all right.
But also he did the minimal. He had to say one letter and they immediately picked it up.
Yeah. Whereas
they've been waiting to chat for you. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And then TMDK, they were pissed. Weirdly enough, they were like overcompensating or something. They were like, "Oh, Zack's gonna win. We should like do stuff too." Like Mikey was like really laying it in here and there, and like getting in people's faces and whatever. And then Robbie like overshot some move to the outside and broke the table. Like, boys, calm the fuck down. Yeah.
There is historic precedence there. Scott Norton, on his debut performance in New Japan Pro Wrestling, was in a 6-man tag in the main event, and they told him like try really hard, make a good impression. Your first night, I think he was tagging with like Chosu or somebody and somebody else, and El Fujinami, big names, yeah. and he ragged after him. So much so that when he tagged out, the other tag partner went, "Just calm down. Don't kill him."
Enough to die.
Yeah, we know when we said, like, you know, fair enough, but yeah, no, chill. So it's like, because they had to tell him to calm down. So sometimes when people get a little excited that their mates in the main event of the Sumo Hall G1 Climax tournament, they might take liberties that they would not normally take.
I'm assuming they know that he's winning.
We haven't spoiled the end.
Oh, you already told it. Like
I did not. No, I did not say who won. I didn't.
Okay, Zack won. Spoiler. I'm assuming they knew, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but even then, if somebody gets injured, you don't know, do you?
Yeah. I mean, but they would have known by this point.
I would have thought
like in
so,
this
yes.
match. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Unless there was some last-minute booking decisions that had to go ahead.
Yeah, or they were like, "Don't tell us. We want the reaction to be genuine or whatever."
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say?
No. Let's get to the match which I have the least comments about for some reason.
Bullet Club, Clark Connors, Darrell Maloney, and Taiji Ishimori went up against just 5 guys, Dookie Sanada and Taka Michinoku. This is, of course, kind of re-establishing Clark Connors and Darrell Maloney as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, since they've come back after a bit of a break. And Ishimori is challenging Dookie for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, so it's kind of all about them.
How dare you, Ishimori?
How dare you?
No one should challenge him for a while. Just let him have the title.
I think Dokie's kind of right, though. If he buries the ghost of Ishimori, he's beaten all 3 of the major.
Yes, of course. If that happens, then I'm cool.
You're concerned.
I care about Doki, so I'm concerned. I'm always concerned. I don't trust New Japan. And especially because they gave us what we wanted this show. I'm like, oh, they're going to do something really horrible to make up for it.
I honestly think they generally try and want to get away from them 3, because otherwise, how are you going to, if you have them all 3 of them hanging around all the time and they're invincible, then it always looks like they're going to win. And that's, you booked yourself into a corner then. So I can see Doki winning this one. He might lose the next one, don't get me wrong, but I think he beats Ishimori to prove the point that if he's buried the ghost, then you can move on. And the division becomes much more open and less predictable, which is the issue with it, which has been the issue with the division for 5 years. Really? As much as it's been fantastic, and we loved Espy and we love Hiromu, and Ishimori's been great, they're great, all great round wrestlers, but they need to do something else. Otherwise, it just becomes about them, and therefore there's no interest. I know Liger won the title 11 times, but that was spaced out over 20 years. And, you know, Jushin Liger's freaking Jushin Liger. There's never been anyone like him before or since, and there's unlikely to be anyone else ever again. And, you know, he also, you know, shattered his ankle and took 9 months off, and had brain cancer and had to have a tumor removed. And, you know, there were breaks when other people got a chance, is what I'm saying. So, you know, you need to kind of do that. Otherwise, it becomes very one-dimensional as a division. And while we had a Best of Super Juniors that was really, really good, now would be the time to do it, wouldn't it?
Yes. I agree. Just, you know, I'm a Doki fan, so any time, any challenger shows up, I won't be happy, especially when it's a guy who has a history of winning shit and is the only the big 3 guy currently in the division.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm feeling it's going to go okay.
I think it will too, but you know, like you might have thought Zack's winning, but you were still nervous as hell. So
yeah, but we'll see anyway. But that is probably likely to come at either Destruction or King of Pro Wrestling. Shall we move on?
I just want to say that I think Driller looks a bit less tan today.
Has he been scrubbing bleach on him to get himself?
Maybe he's taken a few showers and like. Yeah, or maybe that I'm just already so used to it that
It's just less impressive on the eyes. So it's like, yes. Or maybe it was the contrast on the telly or something. I don't know. But yes.
No, it still looks like he was very tan. Just not as impressive. Or yeah, maybe there was different kind of lighting in this show, and I don't know.
Possibly. It's still looking very tiki.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, shall we move on? Because there was things afoot. All of this suffering throughout this tour because we had to have Honma with either Yoshihashi or Hiroki Goto or Shota Umino. Things paid off for us. It was maybe worth the horror.
Yes, but like they still put Honma with my Goto and Yoshihashi. Damn it.
I know, but he didn't spend that much time in the ring.
They could have put someone else in there. Like,
yeah, I know, but it wouldn't have made this. That would have made this win so much less impressive, wouldn't it? Anyway,
we could have had like Nagata in there, and Honma could go team with Tiger Mask.
I think Tiger Mask probably wouldn't stand for that.
Okay.
No, we'll be answer that.
We could have Tiger Mask in here.
Yes,
that could go team with
there you
Nagata
go. That's better. Tiger Mask is an ornery chap, but there's a sound of things. He doesn't really like doing things any other way other than his way. But here we are. Anywho, Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi of Chaos, and Tomoyaki Honma, unfortunately, of GBH, defeated Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Jake Laywen, Yoshihashi pinned David Finlay, your global heavyweight champion, 9 minutes and 37 seconds, in a result that is so far out of the clear fucking blue sky, the entire internet went, what? Oh!
But the best thing about it is that I didn't see like 200 people hating it.
No, everyone was good with this. Oh yeah, they were good. They were good with this. Yeah, oh sure. Yes. Yoshihashi having a crack at the global heavyweight championship. Now we're not saying he's going to win, obviously.
Oh no, he isn't. Probably.
It's because it's Yoshihashi. But for a moment, we're allowed to believe Crucifix Bomb did the job, and David Finlay looked aghast that he'd lost, and was suitably like, ah.
Yes.
So this was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It adds to the story we've been talking about for quite a few shows now. In that, as much as I love Yoshihashi, like what I'm going to say next is not a detriment to Yoshihashi. But David Finlay loses to Yoshihashi, who one didn't make the G1 and lost to Callum, right?
Yeah.
So, and David Finlay lost to that guy. Like, if I were Ghetto, I'd be like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. How can you nearly get to the G1 Climax final and then 2 days later, on the next day, lose to Yoshihashi? Why do you keep dropping the ball?
Yeah, why do you disappoint me?
Yeah.
And in turn, he disappoints Gabe and Jake. Like, Gabe was very much anti-Yoshihashi, like, fuck Yoshihashi, how dare you, blah, 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 blah. But, like, imagine if Jake and Ghetto in the background, like, looking at each other. Being like, why is he losing? Why is he losing us points against these guys?
Yeah, exactly. Because the original focus of this match was, of course, Bishamon against Mad Bastards. Mad Bastards.
That's
Was the original focus was Mad Bastards versus Bishamon, but all of a sudden things have changed. It's become a foot, and now it's a single series between David Finlay.
It's kind of funny because people were like assuming that it might be Goto versus Finlay.
Yeah.
That was the angle. But no, it's Yoshihashi.
But this kind of mirrors what happened, was it 5 years? Yeah, it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when Minoru Suzuki didn't make the G1 Climax, but the payoff was he got Kazuchika Okada at World Quest. So, we have other news after this match, which was the announcement of Royal Quest 4, which will be at the fabled Crystal Palace Sports Centre in London. I've been there before. I'm thinking about going again now. So we shall see.
You know, that's always so funny, is those announcements, because commentary will be like, we have a huge international announcement, like everyone get ready, and somehow I feel excited, and then I get the announcement and I'm like, cool. I mean, they're never coming here. So every international announcement is like, I get really excited, and then I'm reminded they don't come where you live, and you have social anxiety. So,
Yes.
and no money and no time. So while it is very cool, it's like it's not disappointing because I'm happy for everyone else, but it's like, oh, I got excited for no reason.
Ideally, you would like them to come and wrestle in your living room.
Yeah, my backyard is fine.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fine.
my backyard. I don't have to clean my house if they wrestle in my backyard.
Yeah.
A backyard is a big word. Like, the ring would not fit in my backyard, but that's beside the point.
If only been a DDT fan, they would have actually done that.
Yeah, in the forest.
Yes.
On a tree somewhere. Yeah. I mean, Ibushi is back wrestling, so he can like moonsault off of a tree or the roof of my garage or whatever.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
But yes, so Royal Quest is on for October the 10th, I think it is, which is like, September the 8th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I think, is the Noah tour. They're doing shows with Progress. I'm strongly considering going to the Manchester show. Actually.
Is it the 10th? October the 10th?
10th?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Is it 10th of the October? Let me have a look.
I thought that Zack was challenging on the 14th, and
yeah, it must be after that. Royal Quest 4. Wrestling Observer newsletter says August pre-sale October 20th.
That makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
Because I only remember the date, the 14th, because it's my birthday the day after.
Oh.
So I was like, I think the point was that everyone was excited at the idea of Zack bringing the title with him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So anyway, we should not talk about that yet.
We should not, because of the top, the doodah attire atop the thing that will cause us all pain and suffering if we do not. Anyway, where are we? Let's see. House of Torture, Evil, Ren Narita Show, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yukiro Takahashi, and Yujiro Takahashi, but not Yujiro, accompanied by a Dick to Go. They defeated Bebop Tag Team, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, El Phantasmo, Oleg Bolton, and Shota Umino in 8 minutes and 43 seconds. As you can imagine, this was not so much a wrestling match as a morality play.
No, it was an ELP as a breakdown play. ELP doesn't know what to do. Basically,
no, he doesn't. So they all came down Shota style from the side of the thing, and everyone was happy together, and they showed a massive amount of unity, and they went through the crowd, and they did the thing, and they get to the ring, and then as soon as they get to the ring, Evil hands ELP a House of Torture t-shirt. And ELP then parades around the ring staring at the House of Torture t-shirt.
10 minutes. Put it
on for 10 minutes whilst these other poor bastards are trying to have a wrestling match. And I'm sure Oleg Bolton was just, get on with it. One way or the other, I need to get stuff done here. The upshot of that was, in the end, there was a consultation between Chado and El Phantasmo yet again. And there was more confusion. And eventually, Jado got pinned. And then after trying to do green kill, got shoved into it. It was a thing. Anyway, Jado got pinned, and then ELP decided to save Jado because he decided he was definitely going to be Hontai, and he was definitely in the Hontai camp. Saved Jado and got beat up because he also, we never wanted you anyway. Because of course he didn't. And then that was that, and everyone went to the back happily.
No, wait, that's not
I forgot
what
something.
Happened. No,
what happened? No, what did I miss?
He didn't save Jado. That was the thing.
Oh no, he didn't save Jado because
he could have saved him. He could have broken up the pin.
Yes.
But he didn't.
But he didn't. But then he had a change of heart again and saved Jado from being beaten up because he took the chair shot for him. That was it.
Yes.
It was complicated. A lot of things went on.
A lot of emotions.
It was emotional.
There is one more thing. It's been emotional.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when they came out, right, I heard Shota's music and I saw him and ELP and Jado coming up. I was like, okay, we're doing this. And then I saw Tanahashi and I was like, really? They're gonna make that guy walk down all those stairs? Because they were very high up. So there were a lot of stairs for him to walk down. And I was like, okay, he's made it. And then Tanahashi, the weird bastard that he is, runs back up the stairs to high five other people.
Yes.
His knees are shot. Like I don't remember who it was, but someone posted a picture of Tanahashi behind the scenes, and he has ice on both his knees after this show. I'm like, why did you run up the stairs again then? Like, I love Tanahashi, but he's like, you don't have to do that. We love you anyway.
Yeah, because he doesn't know his
limitations. No.
Limitations. Man's got to know his limitations. Dirty Harry once said.
Hurting himself for the fans. We don't want that.
No, we'd rather you not have to do cortisone shots on a regular basis, please. That'd be not nice.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Okay then. Strap in, folks.
Well, no, a lot of ELP related thoughts. Like he started out by pretending he was going to turn, and I was like, he's never going to turn. Like he's too obvious about it. This is a red herring. He was taking such a long time though, and I get it. The merch is really nice, but you can always say like, I'm not joining you, but I'm keeping the T-shirt. Thanks.
I was going to point out this time, wrestling merch is a really fucking low bar for really nice. However, House of Torture stuff is nicer than most wrestling merch.
House of Torture stuff is really nice.
Have you seen Did you see the new LA Knight T-shirt?
Yes, I did. Fucking AI stuff.
It's like, good God.
Fuck AI.
Okayed that. LA, it's the letters LA and then a knight's helmet to represent the word knight.
It's like, so bad, and it's so obviously AI, and it looks weird because when you look at the picture, it's like it's looking to the side, and it's not centered properly.
No.
It's like it's AI, which is fucked. Like for people who don't know, don't ever support AI.
No.
Because not only does it steal from artists, like it's stolen millions of art pieces from artists to train it. It doesn't credit it. It doesn't ask for permission. It takes jobs from actual artists. So it takes our shit and then uses that knowledge to replace us. And it's horrible for the environment. Horrible.
Yeah. I would also point out it's LA Knight, a big cartoon character of a wrestler who has incredible imagery and incredible sense of like how to place himself in a ring and in positions in media, and you can't make a T-shirt based on that guy. What are you doing?
I feel like they put his name in an AI machine.
Yeah. And
the AI machine was like, "Oh, Knight, I can." That's easy. Put a Knight's helmet on there, and I'm like, good enough. Like, what the hell?
Look, I've been a fan of his since he was in TNA quite a while back. As Ben pointed out to me we did the historical podcast the other day, and he was like, "You were right about LA Knight, and I was wrong." Only took us 10 years to figure that out. And I was like, yeah. But I've been he's just a big cartoon of a wrestler. All you need to do is put a shot of him talking into a microphone, and everyone knows where it is, because it's that simple. Because he's worked on how to make very simple, clear shots. That's what makes him good at what he does. How do you do that wrong? I don't get it. Anywho, AI is awful. Don't do it, kids.
Like, no, I'm not joking when I say it's worse for the environment than pretty much anything you know. Like, entire countries have problems with electricity because AI asks for that much. Yeah.
This is bad for everything for us. And
as we said, as many people, shitty answers that get people killed. Like, I saw an article that talks about a family who had gotten sick because they bought a book online about like mushrooms and the like, and which ones were edible. And they didn't know that it was AI generated, and it was basically wrong, telling them wrong information. So they ate something that looked like the picture in the book, and they all got sick, and they had to go to hospital.
Yeah, this is the thing, and as someone quite rightly said, I don't want AI to do art for me. I want AI to do all the shitty jobs we don't want to do for us, so we have time to do art.
Yeah, and not just art, like all those chat GPT or whatever it's called.
Chat GPT.
It's wrong too. And as funny as it, like, I sometimes see people on wrestling Twitter sharing like funny threads with AI, like either pictures or answers or whatever, and like, it's funny, sure, but what are you doing? What's it causing? Every wrong answer and every funny joke answer gets put into the AI, and it starts thinking that that's a correct answer. So the more bullshit you put in, the less correct all the answers are going to get. So the longer this goes on, the more incorrect stuff you're going to find in that AI.
Yeah, it's also a threat to democracy. Let's not forget that.
And like a threat to, for example, they can create porn of existing people. They can threaten them with fake videos and pictures that look very real. Like, so many wrong things can be done with that shit.
Yes.
Anyway.
This has been a public service announcement.
Yeah, it's moved away from AI for a second. The Discord was really funny. I'm in the Discord for We Work Stiff guys, and the Discord was basically arguing the entire match, like who was going to turn on who, and then no one turned. Oh my god, we've been arguing about this for days now. Or like, this is the big conclusion of the ELP storyline, and something is going to happen, and even House of Torture is now part of it, and then nothing happens.
No, I must admit, I was like, oh, for God's sake, just get on with it at one point. I was like, because I'm like, I've had enough of this. I've reached my interesting storyline threshold. I need wrestling matches. Let's go. At that particular point, by about 6 minutes in, though, I kind of got over that and went, as I got towards the end, and it made sense. But there was so much hanging about in this match. There you go.
Yeah, and I'm I just want to know that it's going somewhere.
Yes, because it didn't in this day.
If this leads in like ELP leaving or whatever, I'm gonna be like, why did we do it then? Like,
you just let him go early. Yeah.
And a lot of people were expecting big upheaval in this G1, like faction issues and changes.
Why?
I don't know, because a lot of the stories that are happening are centered around breakups and potential turns or whatever. Yeah. So you do have a couple of factions that don't have a defined leader, like Chaos and United Empire, for example. So people were like, things are going to change, and this is going to be the catalyst for it. Nothing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Have you not watched New Japan for the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Everything happens at glacial pace.
Chapter 21 of a 50-chapter story right now.
Yes, this is it.
We are getting there, but we're getting to the meat of the story, but
it's never the end of the beginning. It's always just the beginning. This is it. This is what they do. The only time you know when the story's over is when somebody retires. And until that Tenbo salute happens, it's always just starting.
And even then, if you're a certain wrestler, you come back in a year and the story starts all over again.
Exactly. That's it. Well, I mean, Japanese wrestlers not so much, partly because Yoneyama, the Joshi wrestler, she actually stopped a 10-bell count at 5 and decided not to retire at one point. And that has meant that in Joshi wrestling, if someone's going to get a retirement ceremony, make them sign a contract that they have to retire. And have to go back and ask the company permission to, because it makes it mean less and it's not fair. And Yoneyama has retired again now, but she didn't have a big ceremony this time. But yeah, it's in Japanese wrestling, when you're done, you are definitely done. But that's one of the reasons. Like Fujinami's never been done. He's 68 and he's still wrestling. You know, Fujiwara is like 82 and still wrestling. He is gonna wrestle till he dies. But but that's the reason why they don't have the big retirement ceremony, because they can just go and keep pouring one in when they want to. Have some fun with the mates. Which is nice. But yeah. Anywho, shall we move on?
Yes.
Los Ignorables Day upon Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito defeated Callum Newman, Great Okan, Hanare, and Jeff Cobb when Hiromu Takahashi pinned Hanare, who looked like a deer caught in headlights.
I have a screenshot. It is so funny because you can see I need to act surprised.
Yes.
You can see it in his eyes.
This is the worst acting you've ever seen. Someone posted a picture of a kitten staring into space, which had a very similar look about Hanare's face, to be honest with you. You need to get some acting lesson. Yeah. It was a very, very good match, though, and it kind of laid out how Takahashi's going to have to deal with Hanare. He can't go straight on. So the thing to do is to go at it sideways. So he's using his speed, and he has got big hands, and he's a good striker. So he used his speed in his strikes, which isn't the obvious attack against Hanare, but it was a really cool kind of way of setting things up and making things believable. And you kind of saw things because Hiromu had never written on his tape rather than LIJ today, and he had it pointing towards Hanare. Yeah. Hanare saw it and was like,
Do you know what he had written yesterday?
He had LIJ and something on it. I can't remember.
Yeah, good luck, Yota-sama. It's so cute.
Yeah. But he is fully focused on Hanare, and that was pretty much the focus of this particular match. Though there was the usual good shenanigans between Bushi and Tetsuya Naito as far as tag teaming was concerned. There were some super slick maneuvers, and some super slick maneuvers on United Empire's part as well. It was really, really cool. The obvious other thing in this is Great Okan and Tetsuya Naito carrying on their feud, which...
Their love story.
Their love story. I'm not sure Naito's very much feeling the love right now. But yeah.
If you would kill him.
So this match was mostly about Hiromu Hanare and Naito and Okan, and there was some lovely stuff. Nice bit of setting the scene for destruction, possibly of Naito's knees. Anywho,
those are already gone. Shingo came out limping, which I hope is selling. I'm assuming is selling. Yeah. I liked it. I like it. It sets up Zack as well. Like the next match, just to give him another boost to show how dangerous he is. So that's nice. And the moment Shingo came out, apparently Callum stepped forward. I was like, Callum, you want to feud with Shingo? Why exactly?
What is your problem, young man?
He doesn't have a belt. Like, do you just want to get your ass kicked, or what's the deal? Or want to beat him again? I guess. Though I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Yeah, I have one funny moment and then something else to mention. The funny moment was like Shingo hitting Cobb repeatedly. Mm-hmm. And at some point, Cobb just he stops and he yells, "No!" at Shingo. I'm like, what are you doing? Do you think he's like a dog that you can like very angrily tell to stop and they'll stop? It was really funny. It had me laughing. I don't know if it was intentional to be funny or impressive or whatever. I laughed. And then I talked about this on my Twitter. I feel like it's kind of United Empire has 3 champions in it, and sometimes I forget because I don't see United Empire as being like a top faction.
No.
Even though they have 3 titles, and one of their guys is challenging for the main title.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They have kind of like heavyweight, the main event positioning, but they're all still a bunch of mid-carders. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't mean to insult them, but like...
No, but there's a lack of presence there.
LIJ has 1 title, and it's the biggest, but I would still place them way higher. Just Five Guys has no titles. No. I would put them above United Empire too.
Yeah.
Same for War Dogs.
Yeah, because this is the thing with Just Five Guys. They're all pros. They've all been there. They've all done it. Even Uemura's won a title.
They have Doki, of course. They have Doki's title.
Yeah, they have Doki's title, but they're all the guys, they're the lads, they're wrestlers, they're the ones who do the job. And, even Taka is like, how many titles has Taka won in his time? There's a certain level of prestige to that organization that just isn't there with United Empire. No matter how popular they are, it kind of just seems like I think Walker Stewart said that there's no need for a leader because it's kind of, since Ospreay left, but Ospreay was the shine and he's not there anymore. And it always seems to be kind of like their only reason for existence was Ospreay, and now he's not there. It's kind of like, what are you doing here then? You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. I was looking at when they came out, they still had Ospreay on their Titantron as the first guy in their video. And I'm like, he's been gone for how long?
Yeah, fix it. He's not coming back.
It's like the ghost of Ospreay is still here with everything.
Yeah.
With this, with Callum, with no leader, but normally that would lead somewhere, but it doesn't look like it's leading somewhere because you don't have that ghost that you're telling the story around. So it's weird.
There's no group identity for them. Like, Just Five Guys are a bunch of friends who came together because of their mutual love of professional wrestling and their mutual love of each other. Chaos are the defenders of strong style. They have a mission in life to defend strong style, to be the bastions of what New Japan should be about. House of Torture have got going whatever it is they've got going. War Dogs are a bunch of people who are there to win money and championships. That's their only reason for existence, but it's a reason for existence. LIJ is about being individuals and the individuals being part of a bigger group. There's a story behind it. But United Empire was the guys Will Ospreay recruited. And the last person they recruited was Cal Newman, and they've all been recruited by Will Ospreay. Now he's gone, there's no one there to push them forward.
Yeah, and it would have been different if Ospreay had said he's my replacement and picked one of them to be the leader.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, we're going to make this story about not having a leader. And I feel like that's because most of them, except Callum and Akira, were like, we want to be the leader. Or we don't want to accept someone else as the leader because we feel like we're the best replacement for Ospreay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of because they're all a bunch of former champions and heavyweights, and and therefore it makes more sense for them to be kind of in charge. We haven't heard from TJP in a very long period of time either.
No, and he's like the de facto leader, but he's not here.
Yeah.
Makes it even worse.
Yeah, so it's just like, so ideally you want someone who's on every tour. So Great Khan really should be the leader of that organization because that makes the most sense. So, but he won't be because they consider him to be kind of like comedy mid-card heel. He's not like, but he's over. He's really over. Like, they loved him today. So we'll have to see, won't we? But there you go. Well, that's the big two matches. What do you think of Hiromu Takahashi and Harare as a matchup? I know you're not keen on watching the build-up for that match, but the match itself...
I'll be okay with it if it goes where I think it might go, which is Hiromu Naito. And I feel like I don't think he needs the title for that. I think that depends on what happens with Naito and Zack.
Yeah.
I might as well talk about it now because we're going to talk about Zack a lot.
Yes.
After this, I think you can put Naito Hiromu without titles as a special singles match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
And have Zack with the title be challenged by someone else.
Yeah.
I think you can do that. I don't think Naito or Hiromu need a title to make it a big deal. However, if Naito has the title at Wrestle Kingdom, then Hiromu needs to win.
Yes.
So there's 3 scenarios. Either neither of them have a title, either only Hiromu has a title, or Naito has a title, or both of them. Or both of them have a title, because Hiromu needs the title unless Naito doesn't have the title to challenge. So if Hiromu wins, I'm fine, because I think that's best case scenario. That means Henare doesn't have the title, but it also means that there's a guaranteed challenge for Naito that's possible for Wrestle Kingdom. And like I've said before, like I've been talking about this Hiromu Naito scenario for quite a while now. If this is Naito's last Wrestle Kingdom, in my head, it makes more sense to have him against Hiromu than against Zack. As much as I feel like Zack versus Naito would be a great match, and is definitely Wrestle Kingdom worthy, it being possibly the last Naito match, it makes sense that it's against his boy, the one he always wanted to wrestle, never got to wrestle. The LIJ story is coming to an end, right?
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love Zack, I think that's the better story for Naito's ending at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I think also it's the bigger draw. Zack's very, very popular.
Yeah. The only thing that... sorry, go ahead.
I think is... we can talk about it after the match because there's things Zack said after the match which kind of like play into this as well. So...
Yeah. The only... Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I keep thinking
you
you're
done.
done.
No, I was done. That was it. That was what I was going to remember.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And the only counter I've heard to that idea of Hiromu Naito as like a semi-final instead of the final is that, can you follow that up with Zack against someone?
Yes, I think you can. I think it has to be the right guy, yeah. But if you're going to break someone into the main event, that'd be the time. You'd be better off doing it with Zack than you would be doing it with Naito.
Yeah. It's a shame Daniel Bryan said he didn't want to do it in Japan anymore with Zack, because that would have... I think that could have been a great main event. But
yeah. But, Bryan's kind of winding down. He's done. He's... Someone pretty just started this week. Why Daniel Bryan has lost all of his matches? And like, because he's retiring and he wants to put people over. Are you fucking stupid? Of course he's losing to everybody because he's trying to get to the end of his show and using his fame to help other people out. This is how wrestling works. Have you not come across this before? Sorry. Stupidity makes me angry.
Think of happy thoughts. Think of Zack with the trophy.
Yes. Shall we move on?
Yes, let's go.
To the G1 Climax 2024 G1 Climax 34 final, matching Zack Sabre Jr. of the Mighty Don't Kneel against Yota Tsuji of Los Ignorables de Japón. 31 minutes and 4 seconds of a blessed professional wrestling match that Zack Sabre Jr. won with the most ridiculous, the most glorious submission you could possibly imagine, that summed up Zack Sabre Jr.'s career, which has been about making people tap in the most obscure ways you can possibly imagine, about free-forming his submissions and making everything look as realistic as possible. This was his love song to pro wrestling, and this was a beautiful piece of music. And Yota Tsuji was not just along for the ride. He wrestles way beyond his years. He was the right choice of opponent, though we may think it was probably by accident. And his actual development since even New Japan Cup final, which was 4 months ago, has been absolutely stunning. For him to be in a match of this quality at this stage in his career is absolutely stunning. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. is Zack Sabre Jr., and he can rightly claim to be the greatest professional wrestler on earth today. And after this match, it's hard to argue. This was just outstanding professional wrestling. It paid tribute to all of his mentors, as he has done through this tournament, to Andre Baker, to Minoru Suzuki, to Taka Michinoku, and to Yoshinari Ogawa. And it made people so happy. This is how happy it made people. Keno said congratulations to Zack.
Yeah, the amount of wrestlers who've been congratulating him, it's crazy.
It is, because he's the wrestler's wrestler. And for fans of a certain age, this is more important than any other major significant kind of milestone in British wrestling, because it's a British wrestler wrestling in a British wrestling style and showing the world in the world's greatest wrestling tournament how it's supposed to be done. This is
and
everything.
I think those wrestlers also realize how difficult it must have been for Zack. Like, first of all, to be a foreigner in Japan, like to move here, to live here, to learn the language, to work so hard to become a part of Japan. But then also, he's not only a foreigner, he was originally a Noah guy. So that's another strike against him. So to be able to win the G1, I think they all realize how hard he must have worked.
Yeah.
And how much he must have had against him for so long. And then still been able to do it.
This is a 20-year story. And it's a 20-year story of the wrestling fans that followed Zack and the wrestling fans who followed British wrestling. It's every false start. It's every disappointment. It's the sports wrestling coming back on telly after one season and disappearing. It's NXT UK disappearing into the ether because WWE haven't got the money anymore. It's the British scene falling apart around its ears because of things like that happening. Whereas Zack has plodded away constantly, consistently, being the best he possibly can be. And everyone who's followed him has seen him be the best wrestler he can possibly be.
Yeah, and I also think they appreciate the loyalty, because I think every wrestler, even if they're not part of New Japan, knows that Zack probably could have gone to WWE or AEW, that they would have said yes, right?
Yeah. He could have earned a lot more money doing that as well.
Yeah, and yet he chose to remain in New Japan, to be part of the Japanese wrestling scene. And he's talked about doing that intentionally, and about how much he respects the New Japan and Japanese scene, and like he's part of DDT, and like there's so many connections there that I think all these wrestlers understand what this means to him, but that it also means something for the rest of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the fans as well. This is Zack's one of us. He loves pro wrestling, and it's buying Power Slam, and like he said in his post-match interviews, it's buying VHS tapes and hoping that they actually work. And it's buying Power Slam, and it's wrestling in front of 50 people in a community hall in Bradford on a Tuesday, and it's campsite wrestling in front of a bunch of kids who are screaming their heads off for you, and it's Progress, and it's Rev Pro, and it's ICW, and it's every regional wrestling company in the United Kingdom that has fans that love their wrestling, because Zack loves their wrestling like we love our wrestling. And it's a wrestler, and there's a straight line in through the entire history of British wrestling, from Billy Riley to Billy Robinson to Marty Jones to the Dynamite Kid to all of those people that make up the style that is Zack Sabre Jr. and just so important for British wrestling fans. And when he gets back here, boy, is there going to be a pop for him.
Imagine if he has the title.
Oh, Crystal Palace will be rocking. Absolutely rocking. And that's the thing. That's what we've got to look forward to, if it all comes out the way we want it to. But, this is pro wrestling, and Ghetto hates us.
I mean, if New Japan want to give me a birthday present, my birthday's on the 15th. So if you want to buy me, like, tickets and a plane ride and hotel fee, New Japan, you know where to find me. just say. Wouldn't mind going.
I'll come pick you up from the hotel.
Oh, that's kind of you. I figured they would send the Young Lions to come pick me up, but that works too.
Yeah, they spend the whole day hanging out, because I've been like, I got down there the last time I went down there early, and I'm kind of wandering around Crystal Palace because it's a lovely place to go look around. It's really quite nice, because the old Crystal Palace, which was literally a palace made of glass, which burnt down in the 80s, is still up on the hill, like the grounds of it and stuff, and you're walking around the grounds. And there's the athletics track, and there's a couple of hockey games going on. You can go watch a couple of hockey games and people playing football and stuff. And then you're on there. And then there's the executives of New Japan Pro Wrestling just get delivered, and they're wandering around with a couple of young boys carrying their bags. And I was sat having a sandwich, and Jardo came out to make a phone call. Because he pulled out 3 phones, juggling his phones.
The advantage of going abroad is that they want to sightsee too, and they have no home to go back to, and they're not used to the hotels, so they're like, well, might as well have a look around. So you suddenly see all these wrestlers in the wild. Like, oh, look, it's that guy.
Yeah, it's funny enough. It was like the first time I the first indie show I went to in London was United Wrestling show with the Stardom. It was Stardom's first European tour. And I'm walking up the street, not expecting to see anyone, and I walk straight into Jazzy Gabba and the entire Stardom roster. So Io Shirai, Kai Hojo, all of them.
Aww.
Yeah, and it's like Jazzy comes and gives me a big hug because she recognizes me. Hi, James, how you doing? This is James.
Aw, that's so nice.
I got to shake Io's hand and Kairi's hand. It's like, very nice to meet you.
And you never showered again?
No, I didn't. I have not showered for the last 10 years. I wash and then I leave my hand up in the air.
You wrap that in plastic and then
yes.
Yeah, I remember I had a friend who sent me a picture of like two guys, and she was like, I think these are wrestlers, right? And it's like, show me. And it's like Evil and Suzuki. And this was in the time when kayfabe was Evil was still in LRJ and he was a face-ish, and Suzuki was in Suzuki-kun, obviously, and was a heel. So I was like, okay, but we can't post this. Like, we can't let people know that we're friends behind the scenes, that they're actually going around London.
It would ruin the magic.
It's kayfabe, damn it.
Yes, kayfabe. You see, this is why we come full circle, where the fans protect kayfabe more than the wrestlers do.
Yeah, they do.
They do. They really, really do.
There's like fans who very intentionally will call wrestlers by their wrestler name, even though they know their shoot name, and they are more than fine with fans calling them by their shoot name. It's like, no, you are Evil. I don't care that that's a weird name to call someone. What do you mean that's not your name?
So what do you think of this match then?
I really enjoyed it. Let's set that aside. But I had such an issue this match because I had a cat owner problem. You don't have cats, right?
No, I don't have any animals at the house. I have BMWs instead.
So I just set up everything, and I was like with my notebook right in front of me and my pen, and then my cat shows up and he crawls in my lap. And I'm like, well, fuck, now I can't move. So, so I watched the entire match pretty much with the cat on my lap, not able to move. So I have no notes for the actual match. And then when he leaves, which is when the shit with the feed started, but I'll talk about it later. That's when my notes start. So I remember that I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was great. I kind of didn't feel nerves because I had an inkling Zack was winning, and I had two reasons for that. One, just simply the look on his face when they were sizing each other up right at the very beginning. Tsuji had this big old smile, which he always does, but Zack just looked tense. Like his eyes were flickering, and normally he's like he tried to play cool, but he wasn't cool. And I was like, you're nervous about this. You're winning, aren't you? And then the fact that Tsuji, the last match, won with Yuya's move.
Yeah, that was the biggest telegraph of the whole tournament, was the fact when he did that, it was like if he was winning the final, he'd have done it in the final. Right, exactly. Yeah. And he tried to do it in the final, and it was his undoing. Yeah. And that would have been the big story. It's like the same thing with Goto, that his kids came out the match before he lost. Yeah, of course. Don't worry, we're not going to ruin the man's career in front of his children. Yeah, that would be cruel. And if he had won that match, they would have brought the kids out at that match, and not the one before. So it's okay, it's fine. But I didn't feel any nerves as a result of that. I'm assuming you did. I did, because I thought of when I saw him do the deadbolt yesterday, I was like, oh, that's kind of telegraphed the championship match, because the obvious thing is, you save that for the final as the surprise. You don't do it in the semi-final because that gives it away, and Zack has time to scout it, thinking of it as a sport, which you're supposed to do, right? That's how you're supposed to read the story, yeah? So I was like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. You should have done that in the final. And then Zack hasn't got time to scout it because it's not one of your moves. Then that's how you beat Zack, which is obviously a nice little seed for later. The next year's G1 Climax final, for instance. But yeah, I was just like, that did make me think. But then I was like, but of all the things we've discussed, is like, and Ghetto hates us. And all my mind going back is Ghetto hates us. He will not give us a thing that is blindingly obviously the thing you need to have done now because he hates us. I'm sure it'll be genius for whatever he comes up with, but he hates us, and he didn't. They did actually pull the trigger.
For once, you could
trust
Ghetto.
For once, you could trust him not to screw it up, and it was just like, but it did feel with TMDK being there, you know, who were Noah guys as well, and you know, that was, you know,
there were pictures of Takeshita and Chris Brooks watching together, and I don't know if they were on Twitter before the end of the match.
Yeah.
But like, had I seen that, I would have been like, there's a reason why he's there. Like, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Chris is one of us as well. He's a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and he loves Zack. So
yeah, that's it. And it is like, yeah.
There's a really touching backstage segment where Zack's doing the whole after the match press conference thing, and then he's like, "Are we done? We done?" And then Chris shows up, and like Zack pulls him in. Like, it's clear that Zack really needs a hug at that point. It's like it's so cute.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and he thanked so many people about Ogawa especially, and he said, I hope I'm not in trouble for making a fuss. Because Ogawa is a very private person, didn't really want to have anything said or done about his retirement. He just wanted to go up into the sunset. Or Ogawa's Figure 4 trap as well. You know, he did all of the things. He's tried Minoru Suzuki's Gotch style pile driver in this tournament. Obviously, the Zack driver is Taka Michinoku's. All of the submission stuff, it comes from Andre Baker and the Hammerlock guys. Yeah, it's just, it was his love song. This was his Fifth Symphony. This was it.
Yeah, it was so touching. Though I have to say, New Japan World was trying me. Because
so you like posting, I had to like it. You managed to post a picture of it just spinning, which has been that has been the one thing about this tournament that we can all agree was terrible, was the lack of like technical support, which we really needed.
I mean, I missed the Tsuji giving up. I missed it.
Yeah.
It was spinning, and a couple of times it would spin, and then after a few seconds it would like realign itself and go back to the stream, but it didn't. So I was like, oh my god, I guess I'll refresh the page. So I did, and I come back to, I hear Charlton go, "It has come home. He's done it." And I was like, what? Wait, what? It's over? I missed it? Fuck you. So I went back. I watched him. No, I didn't even get to go back. I was like, I'll go back after it's fine. I want to watch what happens live. But then it kept doing that. Like I had 4 like screenshots of the stream just freezing, like not doing anything. So I missed all the cute backstage stuff. I missed the speech. I missed everything. So I had to go back and rewatch it once they uploaded it to the website. I was kind of pissed about that because like everyone was celebrating it, and I was like, "Fuck you, New Japan World." I didn't get to see it. Like I didn't get to see it with everyone else, so I was kind of bummed about that.
Aww.
Yeah. But I did go back and watch it, and it was like so much love. Like Zack trying to calm himself down, like sitting down in the corner and like closing his eyes while around him the Zack chants swell up.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so cute. And then TMDK showing up, like giving him hugs, and Zack hugging Mikey so tight that it's like and he did say thank you, Mikey and Shane especially, because he didn't know if he'd make it he would have made it in Japan had it not been for those guys.
Mm.
So you could tell it meant a lot, and then giving Fujita kisses, and Fujita being like, "Oh my God, stop, Dad!" Like that kind of reaction. It's like, must you embarrass me in front of my friends? Which is cute. And then poor Charlton. Poor Charlton having to translate everything.
Mr. Gomez, you speak Batak, is that correct?
Senhor Gomes, o senhor fala Batak, correto?
Sim.
Yes.
And as you just did, you also speak Portuguese?
É como acabou de fazer. O senhor também fala português?
Sim.
Yes.
But not English?
Mas não fala inglês?
No.
No.
It's like we finally have a foreign guy who wins the G1, and I still have to translate every fucking thing. I did finally get my Japanese speech though, so
You did. Yeah,
there's that.
there you go. Yeah, no, it's just so cool. That's all you can say about it. Is just like, as a British wrestling fan, a British wrestler who wrestles in a British style. And that's not to dispel other British wrestlers who have done great guns. I mean, Drew in WWE, for instance, is a British wrestler, but he doesn't wrestle like a British wrestler. He wrestles like an American wrestler. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what he should be doing because he does it exceptionally well. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But a submission catch-style wrestler winning that tournament in 2024, that's just ungodly. It's just so amazing to see that they put their faith in this guy who has tried so hard to make wrestling, and he's still not lost any of his character, and he hasn't changed. He's evolved. He's much more about striking. He's much more about absorption of punishment, but the actual wrestling hasn't changed. It's still 6 seconds and break a move, and that's just a wonderful thing to watch. And he still got the character, getting the sponsor to flick V's at the camera at the end of the shoot. Like, clearly the sponsor had no clue what was going on.
No. and every picture with that sponsor is with that sign. Like, it's not like he took a few pictures and then did the sign. No, all of them are with that sign. Zack, damn it. Yeah. I mean, it does mean so much though that in a year where it's so clearly that about rebuilding and propping up the next generation, and in a year that's like rounding up Naito's years, it's clear that the end is coming for the generation. Like Gota's story this G1 was about that. The end is near for that generation, and in that time where they're looking to the future, they chose Zack to be the one. And I think that says a lot about Zack, but also about New Japan's intentions.
And the way that, yes, go on.
Because he is a foreigner, and as much as they've been burned by foreigners, it does show that they can trust some of them to stay.
I think as well is the way he's metamorphized this year, because clearly, obviously, they've kind of like said, look, we want to be the guy. So if you're going to be the guy, you've got to start acting like the guy. And the way he's changed his kind of like, you know, his well, for a start, he'd already learned to speak Japanese. That helps an awful lot.
Yeah.
But he's the way he's conducted himself, the way he's kind of wrestled as a champion, the way he's blown off stuff that doesn't matter, kind of like New Japan Cup, like as a character would have mattered so much more to Zack, but he's already won it twice already. So losing to House of Torture didn't really hurt him. And it's just like, you just blew it off, move on, next thing, let's go. Because that's the way a champion feels about things. So he's evolved the character, but the character is the absolute solid professional. And that boils down into what he said next, because the winner of the G1 taking the main event at the Tokyo Dome is only relatively recent. It was when Okada won the G1 in 2012. He said he wanted to main event the Tokyo Dome. And Zack Sabre Jr. has decided that King of Pro Wrestling is the time to do it because it's Ryogoku Sumo Hall, again, his favorite arena, his favorite crowd, his home turf, to take on Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship a week before Royal Quest at Crystal Palace.
Confused?
Hmm.
Funny how that works.
It
And
is, isn't it?
that he doesn't want to go to the Wrestle Kingdom main event.
But that's kind of also plays into the Zack Sabre Jr. character of Okada was about being a star. Zack Sabre Jr. is a pro wrestler.
Yeah, Zack has the advantage he can do this.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, New Japan told him, we want you to challenge at King of Pro
Wrestling. Or it'd come a bit of a shock, really. Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay. But he can work around that. Other people, like, it would not have made sense for other guys.
No. Yeah, to roll into Wrestle Kingdom with the championship belt as well is a very tempting kind of thing to do, isn't it? So that's the thing, is the issue now, and this is the story that they've got telling. So at Destruction, Naito will face Great-O-Khan, the second best submission wrestler in the company, who will tear him limb from limb for 25 minutes. Probably won't win. And lose, and then serve him up for Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
And that's the tension for Naito fans for the next 3 months. Can he survive?
Well, according to some fans, he's been dead for like 5 years, so I think he'll be fine.
This is the thing, is I was talking to Beth and Carrie about this earlier today, and it's like he beat Callum Newman in 6 minutes last week, and then sold it like he'd gone 40 minutes with Peak Era Big Van Vader.
but said he was only injured for like 5%.
Yes, and it's like, yes, Naito, of course you are absolutely in terrible health. We believe you. We so believe you. And it is just like, I don't get how people are not getting it to work. I just don't get it.
I mean, it isn't all the work. I'll say that. Like, he's
no.
Basically,
yeah, he's not.
Fuck.
He's not the wrestler he was 2 weeks ago. Let's be honest. But it is not.
But he's leaning into it.
He is leaning so far into it, you know. And as we said, he's prepped for this for years. Naito's Destino is the perfect finisher for Tetsuya Naito because it doesn't work properly. You have to hit it bang on perfectly every time. You have to search for perfection every time you do it. That's tailor-made for wrestlers falling apart. Because it just builds tension into
Yeah, and LIJ is full of weirdos and underdogs. They're not made for perfection.
No, they're not. It's made for. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to get the job done. And it's not about style. It's about winning. Even though, you know, for a fact that all he cares about is doing it the most stylish way he can, but he can't because he just can't. You know, you look at the guys he was compared to on his way up, like Muto and Tanahashi. They are perfect wrestlers. You know, they are crisp. They are clean in their peak. They were picture perfect. They moved the sport along. They gave a different twist to presentation. Naito could never do that, and that was part of the issue. And then what he discovered was, if you lean into the fact you're imperfect, all of a sudden things will come towards you instead.
Relatable in the way that Tanahashi never was.
Yes, or even Muto never was. You know, Muto's relatable in the sense he's a megastar and he was a genius at professional wrestling, and he could.
That's not relatable, though. I mean,
that's not relatable. Yeah, but I mean, he's relatable in the fact he's a superstar in the sense of he's relatable in the fact that he was just the best, and that's that draws you to it. Yeah,
he was popular. I don't think relatable. I feel like you have to be able to picture yourself as that guy, and I could never picture myself as a Tanahashi. I could picture myself as a Naito guy.
Yeah.
The one who basically feels upward somehow.
Yes, that's it. But yeah, that's the whole thing. You look back to that match Naito had with Muto, or was it Wrestle Kingdom 6 or 7? Where the wheels start to fall off for Naito because he loses to Muto, who's working for Wrestle 1 and isn't even like on the New Japan roster, comes back to do one match and beats their up-and-coming star. And that's where the wheels start to fall off for Naito, and the whole thing collapses around his ears as he moves towards, you know, winning the next New Japan Cup. It's such a Naito fascinates me. I'm not like a big fan of his in the way I am of Zack's or the way I am of even Tanahashi and stuff, but it's such a fascinating story. And like, you know, he's the guy. If Cena had just like tried to figure out something completely different instead of sticking with what he was doing. Or if it's gone, it's not working. We need to make you into an anti-hero. What would Cena look like if he'd been an anti-hero? Would it be more
Cena
interesting what we got?
And Naito has the advantage that he looks like an underdog. Like I love Naito, but he looks a bit scraggly and a bit like unkempt. And Cena has like muscles upon muscles upon muscles and a jawline that never stops. So I don't think it would have worked the same way.
No, it's true.
That's why Bushi wears the mask.
True, and it does make you think, like, why did they pick Naito to be the super clean, super smooth babyface when he clearly wasn't? But there you go. They found the right path in the end. It took them about 6 years. But
I do want to say one more thing about Zack.
Yes.
Which kind of, while we were talking about this, I got a DM from Middle. Middle is a Japanese fan photographer. And the reason why I got the DMs is people have been stealing their shit all day.
Yeah.
They have in their bio that you can't repost pictures, and people do it anyway. So I've been looking a bit at the English language side, just to tell a couple of people, hey, her and other fan photographers, they don't want you to repost their pictures. So she sent me, I'm assuming it's a she, based on the name, but I don't know. Let me just, I think it's a she. She sent me a DM to thank me for that, and then I thanked her for the pictures, and she goes, I'm very happy that people overseas like Japanese professional wrestling. Please continue to like it. I will continue to do my best to take good pictures for you. Thank you. I was like, that's so sweet, and that's what I love about wrestling. Like, people are stealing her shit, and yet she's thanking us as overseas wrestling fans for liking Japanese wrestling.
That is so nice.
It is so nice. Just wanted to share that.
Oh. Well, that brings us to the end of an emotional journey, which has been G1 Climax 34.
Well, it's a good ending, right?
It is.
At least we're not in tears or whatever.
No, it's like if Evil had won this tournament, we'd be like, fucking hell.
I mean, I would have felt so bad for Tsuji, because I feel like people love the dude, and he would have maybe been like second, third choice for most people, but people would have shit themselves and been so angry had he won. I don't think he deserves that. So it's good that
if funnily enough, if David Finlay won, I don't think anyone would have got a problem with it, because you're supposed to hate him. So yeah, but anywho.
I mean, they would have still hated it. Like, that would not have gone there. I don't think there would have been anyone except maybe Goto that people would have accepted over Zack.
Yeah. Okay then. Looking back on 19 nights of the tournament, what's been your favorite moments?
Not so sure about moments. I still come back to Takeshita Goto as the match that still stands out to me the most. Because I remember just loving it so much, being so surprised that Goto won. And feeling like I'm really getting an introduction to who Takeshita is. And it perfectly mirrored the story that was happening. Like, here's the last remaining survivor of this generation, bar Naito, who's the champion and so automatically in, is trying to defeat this young up-and-coming rival from another promotion, who has been given a spot that guys from his generation could have been given. And he beats them as if to say, yes, the future is coming, but we're not done yet. It's not overtaken us yet. And that's just, I feel like that's been the entire story of this tournament, because yes, Zack is younger than Goto, but he's not one of the youngest generation.
No, he's not.
That
he's
generation,
Goto's generation, really.
He's somewhere in between a little.
I suppose, if you count his time in Noah, which you didn't see, but his Japanese wrestling time is of that generation, I suppose. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically this tournament was all about showing that the future is coming and that the future is knocking, but the door is not open yet.
No. Yes, I agree with you. I still have to say Gabe versus Zack is still my favorite match of the tournament, just because it opens up the options for what could be so much more of, and kind of displays the wrestling I like, because it's two British wrestlers who both have British wrestling styles, like I talked about before, wrestling each other from two different kind of backgrounds of British wrestling, the escapology, pure wrestling, catch style of Zack Sabre Jr. versus the brawling, hard-hitting, in-your-face style of Gabe Kidd. It was just a symphony for me. Just everything I wanted in a wrestling match. If I could watch those two wrestle every day, I would be a very happy man. I'm not sure that they would like to be. But I would be. That was just perfection. Just exactly what I want wrestling to be. And such a brilliantly told story, and sets Gabe up for something very special in the future if such things can happen. But it certainly sets up Zack as, the smartest man in the tournament, which is really what he was. And taking 7 to just get the right one in. It doesn't have to be 8 or 7 back. It just has to be the right thing at the right time. And that's what today's match was about. It set up that final of I don't have to hit you as hard as I possibly can. I just have to get the right hold at the right time, and you can't go anywhere. And that was it. And it's just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. The best G1 Climax tournament we've had in years. And I wonder what I'm going to do with my time now, to be honest with you. We've watched, 19 shows, 2 hours a show at least. So we've watched over 50 hours of wrestling in the last 2 months. Podcasted for further
podcasts about it.
Done podcasts about it for about 28 hours by the time we've done. We've done over a day's worth of podcasting.
Wild.
It is. But it has been so much fun, and thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, it's been great. I've learned so much somehow, because I still feel like I only recently returned to wrestling. So just to be able to watch all these guys, and before that, Best of Super Juniors was very much the same. Just to be able to feel introduced to guys I hadn't seen before, and to see how far some had come, and then to be able to talk about it and talk about what I think is going to happen or what I want to happen, and to talk about my disappointments and what made me happy. And in the end, at the very beginning, I said there was only 1 or 2 guys that I wouldn't want to see win it, and those guys did not win. So I just mostly positive memories. Most of the stuff that is negative was fan related and not so much New Japan related.
Yes, same for me, really. And I don't remember any bad matches in tournament matches. Yeah, there was up for Callum versus Shota, was probably a bit ropey, but one's coming back off injury, tons of ring rust, and Callum must have been bricking himself, let's be honest. We're up against the hottest young star in the company in my first major tournament in Japan. Okay, let's try and hold myself together here. So that was probably the roughest match of the whole tournament. It happened to be the first one. So therefore, we had 90-odd matches that were great. So I can't complain, really, can you?
No. And I feel like I tweeted about it yesterday, is that if I had any questions about New Japan's future, they're gone. I am no longer concerned. I mean, there are so many guys who've given great matches, and they're not even main event level yet. Yuya and Tsuji and Takeshita, who's not New Japan but could be. Gabe's had great matches. Finley has constantly had great matches that build up a lot of other guys. Gota's still here. The amount of talent that we have and that we still have to look forward to. Yes, we might lose Naito soon, but his brain is still there. His story is still there. The result of all those years being on top is still there. And I feel like New Japan has made a positive change where they are giving the next generation a shot, and they are giving the fans what they want a bit more. And of course, they can't always do this. They can't always have the main favorite win.
No.
But just that it happened here, while also building up all the guys that are going to be the stars in the future and giving Goto the feel-good story. Like, what more do you want?
There you go. That's it. You couldn't ask for more in this best of all possible worlds. Thank you so much for listening to Today At. We will be back for World Tag League in a few months' time. In the meantime, thank you, Christy, so much for everything you've done for this show. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at SmarkInfested on Twitter.
You can find me at Sheriff Lone Star on Twitter and on Mastodon, and Sheriff Lone Star TX on Instagram. You can find the show Troopany Show on Twitter and on Instagram, and the Troopany Show on Patreon and on Facebook. Thank you so much for listening to all of the shows on the Today At series. We hope you enjoy it. There's only one last thing to say. As you were. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Everyone's been concerned about who isn't here in New Japan now. You guys made a big mistake forgetting the one man that is here. 2024 isn't the year of the dragon. It's the year of the fucking saber. As you were.